Hi, I'm Darin Mangum, securities lawyer, Mangum and Associates. We're a securities law firm, and we have this YouTube channel that we've run for years, the PPM Attorney YouTube channel. And I get on here from time to time to talk about different things happening in the news that I think might be relevant to both clients and potential clients alike. So, as you probably know, we run an international securities law firm practice. We have both. We practice nationwide. We operate out of Puerto Rico, and we have several dozen international clients that operate around the world. So it's important to not only comply with the U.S. securities laws, but it's also important to comply with the securities laws of different countries in which you're raising capital. And it's important that you, especially if you're a U.S. company based in the United States that is doing business overseas, you definitely have to be aware of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. And a lot of people haven't heard of that. It's unique to the United States. I mean, some countries have similar laws, but the way most countries don't subject their own companies to anti-bribery statutes. The United States is somewhat unique that way. Obviously that makes U.S. companies hopefully more trustworthy and reliable. That they're not, giving bags of cash under the table or to bribe their way to do business. And a lot of other countries, that's just the standard course of business. Especially a lot of, I'm not going to name any particular country, but I'm saying a lot of countries, that's just how business is done. You just have to bribe the officials or the politicians wherever they happen to be. In our country, United States, we tend to do a similar thing, but that's usually disguised in the form of campaign contributions and that kind of thing. But that's a whole other topic, right? I don't want to get into politics, but if you're running a company and you're dealing with you're doing business overseas, you definitely have to be aware of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Basically, it prevents you from bribing officials in those other countries, and it's enforceable not in the country where you're doing the bribing. They may be totally fine with it. Some countries do have anti-bribery, but a lot of times it's not enforced, or if it is, it's not very big. It's not a very big deal. Maybe you bribed the prosecutor that was going to come after you. I don't know, but anyway, wanted to just talk briefly about some recent cases that might be relevant. One case involves Rio Tinto, which has been under an SEC investigation. They recently agreed to pay they had a project in the Republic of Guinea, a mining project, and they paid somebody, a consultant, back in 2010, and turns out that it was really a bribe to get things done. They had to pay a $15 million civil penalty under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Another case was a recent a company had to pay a gambling company that was operating overseas in Ireland. They recently were fined $4 million to settle the SEC's allegations that they had been bribing government officials. They paid a Russian-based. I mean, not because they were Russian, but they just had to. They were paying different consultants to try to legalize gambling, and a lot of times it's a multi-barbed issue, because not only do you face civil penalties under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, but also failure to disclose that you have been doing that could give rise to other securities violations, failure, disclosure disclosure requirements, anti-fraud provisions, things of that nature. So anyway, just something to be aware of. If you're a U.S.-based company and you're dealing with you're doing business overseas, and even if you're paying consultants, overseas to sort of grease the skids and get things done, you've really got to have your accounting firm or your law firm really do some due diligence into those payments or where those are going, and making sure that you don't run afoul of that. Anyway, it's not super common, but it happens. So definitely, if you need a securities law firm, again, we're an international securities law firm dealing worldwide. We're happy to help. Anyway, hopefully you find this interesting, and thanks for watching. If you like this content, please subscribe. Feel free to share it and like it if you like it. And look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you.